He has tracked multiple companies, Amazon, Uber, Apple, and whatnot. And how did you started applying? I mean, what was the exact strategy of applying?
For DS, I used to code in C++ in my initial days.
Okay, let's come to LLD, I think, which is again the most important for SD1s who are applying for SD2 roles.
मतलब LLD is ऐसा है कि vague topic है, कोई समझ नहीं पाता है इसको. I think CTC wise, I think everything would be in crores.
I think layoff in some time is a blessing in disguise for you. Hey everyone, welcome to Anubhav in Tech. Today I have a very special guest with me, a very good friend of mine, and an ex-colleague at Walmart. I mean, he was in the same team when I was working at Walmart, and recently he has tracked multiple companies, Amazon, Uber, Apple, and whatnot. So I brought him here so that we can discuss, learn from him how he was able to crack so many companies and what is his secret sauce. So over to you, Poojan, and thank you for coming. I would like you to introduce to my viewers and what all you do at Walmart and what was your preparation journey and all.
Sure. So I think I'm a 2022 grad, and having passed out from a non-circuital branch, I would like to say that the journey in Walmart was not easy. Learning all the tech, getting into the computer science fundamentals was not easy. But in Walmart, I did get that space where I could learn and grow a lot. But staying in a company for more than 3 years does not make a lot of sense. And I wanted to explore more apart from Walmart, where I can expand my horizons into different domains. कुछ नया explore करना था, कुछ अजीब करना था, कुछ नया करना, अलग करना था. तो इसी reason से I started looking out for a switch, and it did take a time. It did take a while. It did take some time, but luckily, I was able to crack, as you mentioned, list of companies.
Perfect. So, what was your day-to-day life at Walmart?
My day-to-day life generally revolved around, we worked in one of the P1 systems. I think you must be knowing, but this is for the viewers that we used to work in eligibilities team, where we used to derive eligibilities, and for all the customer journey flows like search, browse, checkout, payment, sourcing, our system was being called for getting to know whether that item is eligible to be sold or not.
Yep.
I'll not go too much into the details, but our day-to-day life revolved around handling all the business epics, business features, along with keeping the system up and reliable, solving production issues, deploying new features, KTLO, and tech debts that we had to solve.
I think you joined Walmart as an intern, right? I think you started your...
Not exactly intern. I mean, I joined as a full-time engineer itself. I didn't do an internship in Walmart. And I joined in a different team. I was first in the inventory management team, where we were responsible for reservations and back
I remember the Wakanda team. Right?
Wakanda team, yes.
I think you got promoted as well at Walmart.
I did get promoted. So after around 2.5 years of experience, I joined as an IN2, and then I got promoted to an IN3.
Perfect. Thanks, Poojan, for a brief introduction. So second question, which is I think the most important, when did you started and how did you started applying? I mean, what was the exact strategy of applying? I mean, some people reach out for referral, some people apply directly through portal, some people try to reach out via cold email to HRs. What was your strategy?
So in my initial days, मतलब जब मैंने शुरू किया था, I think I started last April. So currently it's April, just for the viewers. I started last April,
almost
a year back. And this is when I actually got my CAT results. I mean, I was going into some other field. Then I switched that, okay, I think we can switch, we can stay in this tech itself, and that's when I started preparing.
So was that result not good?
So the result was good, but I didn't get into the black eyes. And I was preparing for black eyes. I mean, all the other IMs I could have got, but I was more interested into the black
ABCs
eyes.
One, right?
Black eye means ABC plus Lucknow, Indore, Kozhikode.
FMS Delhi.
FMS Delhi, I actually forgot to apply.
Oh, damn, man.
So
feeling sad for you.
So that's when I started my journey on, applying for big tech companies and joining them. My friends were already in this journey, and I actually consulted them on how to start it. And this is when I, first prepared resumes, then got to know that what is an ATS and all of those things. Basically, this was my first time switching, so I didn't know any of the key terms or any of the things that I should know beforehand. Because in college you are like pampered as student.
Yeah, right.
Basically कुछ नहीं करना है, बस DSA करो and you'll get through.
Right, हाँ, तब
and
तो
problem solving at max.
Correct.
तो हाँ, मतलब वही है, फिर सब जाना सीखा कि LLD होता है, HLD होता है. There are system design rounds as well. And I think most companies started their shift from DSA to LLD and system design. So I think that that's when I started learning all these skills. DSA is something that I would say a strong suit for me. I just had to revise a few of the core concepts on graphs and all those patterns, but for LLD and HLD it was completely new. I never even applied for the first 2 years. I never even applied LLD in my day-to-day career, and that's when I got to know that there are solid principles that you have to follow. I was a junior engineer. I think that expectation was not there from me as well.
Yeah.
But that's when I started getting to know that there are some principles that you need to follow to write good code.
Exactly.
Not just accurate or efficient code,
maintainable code.
Correct. And that's when I started my LLD journey. HLD was something that I thought that I'll keep it for later stage, since there are some concepts that I knew because of the working that I have at Walmart. Because
we used to work at a very large scale.
Large scale, yes.
Around 1 million transactions. I mean,
so I think our scale was like 50k TPS in APIs that we have, and if we talk about flow, I think we had areas where we are sending TBs of data in hour or day.
Yeah, and some of the Kafka pipelines and some of those topics had
correct
millions of QPS.
Yeah, and we had async and sync both, so I think I was familiar from that perspective. So I thought that we'll leave HLD to the later part of it. I focused on LLD, and LLD has been my weak suit even until now.
How is it?
So I would like to say that if you are a new grad, it would be better if you start preparing and focusing on LLDs. LLD does not mean just relying on principles. It's like, how can you write a good code which is clean, easy, maintainable? They don't expect that you need to apply strategy pattern here, or you need to apply different kinds of observer patterns and all. Those are helping guides to help you clear the interviews. It's more about how can you write a good code and how can you justify that code, because there's no one correct answer.
Exactly. I think the best thing is to identify what logic suits which principle.
Correct.
I mean, how will identify whether this class should be a singleton class.
Correct.
And
correct.
the reason behind it.
Right.
And why we should have a factory pattern.
Yeah.
Let's say we have to create multiple objects. Then
True.
We have to then look for other patterns as well, like object creation pattern.
Yeah. Basically, like factory pattern helps you get rid of if and else conditions too much.
Exactly.
So if you think that you're using a lot of if and else conditions, go ahead with factory. So this is a strategy. I mean, this is a thing that you have to get to know. And this does not come directly from learning. It comes from experience. That's what I felt, because in my first few months of preparation, I lacked that confidence on LLD, due to which whenever a cross question came to me in an LLD interview, I used to stutter. I couldn't answer it. So justification is equally important. That's what I'd like to say.
Yeah.
That why did you choose that pattern? Even if it's wrong, why did you choose it? If you justify it accurately, it might help the interviewer or your interview.
Similarly, in HLD interviews, I've seen people saying the system should be consistent. But consistent to what?
Yeah.
What's the justification? What's the rationale behind what should be consistent?
Correct.
What part of system should be consistent?
Right.
So that's true. So if I can summarize, you focused first on revising DSA, then LLD, then HLD.
Yeah.
So can you go topic by topic? What resources you followed? मतलब कहाँ क्या से पढ़ा? मतलब क्या YouTube channel follow किए थे? क्या resources? कोई subscription लिया था किसी का कुछ?
So I'll start with how I did for DSA. For DSA, I used to code in C++ in my initial days and even in my college. What I felt with C++ is when there are interviews like rubric and Nutanix, right, which go into the depth, which want concurrency as well. So in that, what I felt is you can't do concurrency. You'll have to learn concurrency with C++, where I didn't want to spend my time. So I had to pivot to Java.
So you were planning to do DSA and LLD both in C++? Or
no,
just DSA?
LLD in Java and others in DSA in C++.
Okay, that was still fine, right?
But there are some interviews where DSA plus LLD is asked.
That's good.
So
they can ask you to do Sudoku, then make it
correct. Or maybe you can take an example of any of the graph algorithms, right? If you have to get a shortest path and then you have to generalize it for maybe a system or something like that. That's where I felt a bit of hesitance.
Okay.
That can I do this or not? And that's when I thought of moving to Java. Now in platforms like LeetCode, C++, since I knew all the code in C++ on the basic data structures, I was able to implement it. But when I moved to Java, I didn't know about arrays and the functionalities provided, because it's a completely different language. And rather than memorizing it, I knew that all interviews give that autocomplete thing. but LeetCode did not have that functionality unless you buy the premium of it.
That's true.
So I remember I pivoted in last October, and that's the time where Thanksgiving was going on, and there was a Thanksgiving sale. So for DSA, I would just say that since I wanted to move to Java, I just bought that premium subscription, else it was not required.
Got it. Just for the autocomplete and some
Autocomplete,
other features
debug and all of those things.
Got it.
But in general, I felt no requirement since my DSA was strong. But it depends on person to person.
Then what about LLD and HLD?
So
So you only practiced on LeetCode
yeah.
and you bought the premium subscription. That's
Yeah.
it.
So in my initial days, I revised all the topics.
From where did you revise?
So I know this platform called InterviewBit,
Yeah.
but I did not follow it through. I just looked at the type of questions. Like for example, I know my DSU is weak or my graph is weak. What I do in that case is I go to those specific problems and try to practice them, maybe on LeetCode itself. And once I moved forward, since I didn't want to revise DS anymore or waste time in DS anymore, I actually went ahead and just practiced the last or previously asked questions of that company whenever the interviews came up.
Makes sense. This is a very important thing. Before any interview, I mean, let's say applying for Amazon, Facebook, any company XYZ, you have to look for the interview experiences on Reddit, LeetCode Discuss, and I think there are multiple websites where
Correct.
Geeks. Look for what kind of questions are being asked. It's the analogy is very simple. I mean, in our classroom days, I mean 10th, 12th, we used to solve previous year questions. It's exactly same, nothing else. We have been just repeating it here.
Good.
And okay, let's come to LLD, I think, which is again the most important for SD1s who are applying for SD2 roles.
So I'll start with the mistake that I made with LLD. When I started LLD, there were few websites and few playlists on YouTube, maybe Hello Interview, and there were others as well, which I followed, and I got to know about the patterns, and I used to blindly trust those patterns. I mentioned this earlier as well. I used to blindly apply them without even thinking whether it's justified to be applied or not.
So we were doing just for the sake of interview.
Correct,
Just
exactly.
memorizing it.
Exactly. And there was this website Refactoring Guru that helped me a lot when revising those patterns, because they have code examples, they have basic information, and Hello Interviews, playlist that we have for LLD, and there were others as well. I don't exactly recall the name, and
Thank you.
That's majorly it that I use for LLD, because and obviously practicing a lot. What I used to do is I took a problem, I tried to code it on my own. I mean, this is on the later part of the journey when I realized that you don't have to just apply the patterns, you have to understand whether this pattern is applicable or not. In that case, what I used to do is I installed IntelliJ on my system and I wrote all the classes and everything. Then I used to give that to AI, saying that rate it.
Sorry.
Then I used to give it to AI, saying that can you please analyze this, review this, and sometimes I used to have this question, why this pattern, why not that pattern? In those kind of situations, I think it's best if you can actually ask AI and get that justification before someone asks you in your interview. So
That makes sense.
मतलब LLD is ऐसा है कि वेग टॉपिक है, कोई समझ नहीं पाता है इसको, बट जब तुम समझ गए, तुम्हें ग्रास्प आ गया, then you are.
So it's like more of practicing.
More like
first learning the fundamentals, which is solid principles and the other factory pattern,
Correct.
object-creation patterns, and then just practicing it.
Correct.
I mean, I think practicing 10-20 questions would be enough for getting the grasp.
So again, same thing. 10-20 basic questions is good, but कभी भी अगर let's say तुमने किसी की कंपनी में अप्लाई किया और उसका इंटरव्यू शेड्यूल है, पास्ट ईयर एक्सपीरियंस मतलब पास्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस देख लो, they generally ask somewhere around that. You'll get to know what is expected from them at least.
Yeah.
So that's how you can mold how you take your interview forward.
Exactly. I would say for LLD, concurrency-based questions are very important, like multi-threading.
That is true, and they are one of the most difficult ones as well, when you have to make anything thread safe.
Exactly.
And what I would say in this case is, like I'll give you an example itself. So LRU cache, I implemented a default LRU cache where it was extensible, that basically I created a cache model where you can extend it to any of the any of the eviction policies. And one of my eviction policy was LRU. That's what I practiced. Then I knew about concurrency because I learned about it, studied about it. I went ahead and, wrote those locks and everything, basic fundamentals. Then I went ahead and now I thought that I have done this LLD, let's make it thread safe. So what I did was I implemented locks on DLL and everything. Then I got to know that we are also writing when we are reading. In case of LRU, we update the DLL, the doubly linked list. So I thought that technically lock does not make sense here. Why cannot I just put a lock on the whole function itself? That's when I went to AI and I asked that, can I just put synchronized? Is this the most efficient way? That's when I got to know that most efficient way is sometimes the most simplest way as well.
Exactly. I mean, simplifying the complex things.
Correct. So I think
sometimes we over-engineer it.
I used to do this a lot. Over-engineering is something I used to do a lot.
We should not over-engineer. We should always start with a very simple fundamental solution for any problem. Then see whether it's a best fit or not.
Correct. And I think once I learned this.
Sure.
And I think once I learned this LLD, right, I started applying in my professional career as well. And that's when I realized that I've started getting lesser review comments. Started getting my PRs approved faster.
That's something very helpful.
Correct. I mean, LLD even helps you in your professional career as well. And HLD will help you once you're above my values or above my
for the senior engineers.
Yes, for the senior engineers.
Where we need to design stuff. Correct. First we do the requirement gathering, then we start designing, and then comes the core implementation part, which mostly SD1 and SD1, SD2 does.
Correct.
Perfect.
In Walmart, I did get this exposure where I was asked to design a few items, and this is because my manager actually wanted me to grow. So she did give me some tasks where I had to design it, but obviously not that you have to design the whole system, maybe a particular architecture of it.
I think SD2 most of the time gets to design the LLD of the high level design.
True.
I would say 20% of the time they do get the HLD stuff, and most of it is just the LLD implementation thing. Perfect. So how about the HLD thing? What was your preparation strategy there?
So I'd say that I was, as I mentioned, that I thought of preparing for HLD the last. HLD, I wouldn't say, obviously the resources that I used were Hello Interview and all of the playlist in system design of Hello Interviews. I think that suffices at my level. That's what I felt. But I think before going for the Uber interview, a friend suggested me to go through the Alexu book.
Okay.
And I think I had around 4 days of time where I completed the whole book. And it did give me some insights on how to give an interview. Until then, what I used to do is the basic template that was given, functional requirements, non-functional requirements, requirement gathering and APIs and all those stuff. But when I read Alexu and when I saw those experiences, right, what I got to know is the conversation that you have, it's not just you asking questions, it's you wanting to know that what you want to build.
Exactly.
And basically get into the depth of it. And earlier I used to ask questions which were not even relevant. But when I got to learn all these stuffs, right, I was able to pinpoint the questions that the exact questions that you have to ask. That's what I was able to pinpoint. So asking the questions is the most important thing in an HLD, and that is what will drive your interview. That's what
so for HLD, I think Hello Interview subscription or grokking the coding interview, educator.io.
So subscription wise, I didn't buy any subscription. I used the open source materials. Yeah.
Perfect. So I think even for learning HLD, you don't need any paid resource. You can just simply learn it for free.
Correct. I would say this at my experience level. I wouldn't recommend for senior engineers.
At my experience, I would say you really don't need any subscription. But even if at all you want have a tailored resource, you can follow Hello Interview premium subscription or cracking the coding interview. These two are the best resources available.
I have heard these two resources a lot.
So let's talk about what all companies you have appeared and what all offers you have, so that the viewers get some motivation that after all this hard work of around a year of revising DSA, failing in LLD rounds, then practicing it, then learning HLD and whatnot, to finally getting offers at what all companies?
So I have offers currently at Uber, Apple, Salesforce, Amazon, and a startup that I mean, it's fine if I don't mention that. I'd say this that
Almost 5 offers.
almost 5 offers, and it was not an easy journey.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't say that I got them, continuously boosting my confidence. For the first 7 months, maybe from April to December, I got 0 offers. And that is when my whole confidence was shattered in those months, that maybe I'm not fit for switching it. I might be a good engineer, but I'm not fit for switching it, because switching is a different journey that I feel altogether. And in the last 3 months that I would say, I was able to get a lot of interviews, and I think hiring was also going on a lot during the past 3 months. So
luck is a very important factor. I mean,
luck, yes, but
hard work is, I say hardworking people get lucky.
Huh.
So hard work was there for the first 7 months.
Correct.
It's just that the hiring was on freeze and your resume might not be getting shortlisted.
Correct.
But I think there's a peak time after that you start getting multiple offers. Multiple interviews start getting.
I think one other factor was the past few months, all the companies started their in-office interviews.
Exactly.
And I think conveying myself और समझाना मेरे लिए बहुत easy हो गया था उस टाइम पे. So maybe I lacked that communication skill कि online interview में मेरे से वो नहीं हो पा रहा होगा. And maybe in the offline interviews, I'm able to do that. There might also be competitions, obviously. In office, some people are not ready to appear because they might be in other cities as well. But I think given कि मैं Bangalore में था, that might not be a crucial point. But I think communication skills जो समझाने वाला, in office समझाना थोड़ा easy रहता है.
So you must have already practiced a lot of, you might have given a lot of mock interviews as well. Did you?
So I wouldn't say I mean mock interviews were my actual interviews.
Oh, nice.
The first 7 months. मैंने अलग से जाके कोई mock interview नहीं दिया था. I used to discuss a lot of things with my friends because we all were in the same journey. Some of them are still, but we used to discuss a lot in depth. I mean, we did have arguments. We did have constructive criticism. That's what I would say. So that actually helped me,
That sounds
understand perspectives.
And if you have peers, your friends, your flatmates,
Yeah.
you can prepare and switch together into the same company.
Correct.
That's the advantage of being a bachelor. So next thing, you have cracked multiple companies, right? So what pattern did you saw? I mean, you were preparing HLD, LLD, DSA, all those stuff. Uber has a different focus criteria. Amazon has a different focus criteria. The rounds are different. Did you see any pattern, or let's say, or if you can focus on single company, I mean, each company, what was your kind of questions that was asked, what was the difficulty, and what was the package in just ballpark figure, let's say.
So I'll start in this way, that what was the pattern that I observed? The first pattern, as I already mentioned, was the offline interviews.
Okay.
All these companies took offline interviews, at least one round. I mean, all the other places there were drives. In Salesforce, there was a hiring manager which was in office.
Okay.
The focus that I felt was DSA is something that I feel that most of the candidates are able to solve now.
Perfect.
The highlighting factor that I would say here is how well are you able to connect with the interviewees? I mean, the expectation that they have, and are you able to match those expectations?
I've also seen, sorry to interrupt,
Uh-huh.
a lot of companies are focusing less on DSA. A lot more companies are having either managerial round or design rounds as a first round. LLD and HLD has been the first round. For many companies, especially for SDE-2 roles, I've been seeing quite often now. पहला round उनका HLD, LLD हो जाता है और फिर DSA होता है. I think that justifies what you said कि most of the people are able to solve DSA now, so they don't want to waste time. So they just want to see if the candidate is a good fit, knowledgeable fit for the team.
मतलब obviously we have to work with the manager in the end. So manager will have a good say on whether you are selected or not. And ये मैं experience से बताता हूँ कि starting में क्या होता था, मेरे सारे rounds निकल जाते थे. I used to be happy. And there was this notion कि सारे rounds निकल गए, hiring manager तो निकल ही जाएगा. But that was not the case for me. मैं बहुत जगह पे बस hiring manager के बाद ही कटा हूँ. It might be debrief, not exactly sure, but it may also be behavioral or something that I didn't connect with manager rounds. So this switch, this change that hiring manager पहले हो रहा है, I think it's a good thing, even as an interviewer, कि तुम्हें पहले ही expectations clear हो जाती है, and you don't waste your time.
Exactly. Otherwise you end up wasting both of the, the interviewee, both and the interviewer's time.
Correct.
So I mean, let's say first round में DSA तुमने बहुत अच्छे से कर लिया,
हाँ,
and you start getting the hope, right?
Correct.
अब हो जाएगा, अब शायद हो
जाएगा.
जाएगा, पहला round हो गया, and then the second round comes LLD.
Correct.
Kills all your hope. You I mean, most of the time after LLD, I think LLD is the point where people see most of the rejection. HLD में फिर भी expectation कम होता है.
It depends on company. जैसे कुछ company में HLD is bar raiser.
Exactly.
तो उस केस में obviously bar raiser has a more say to it. But हाँ, if you talk about in general perspective, LLD has, I mean, at my level, LLD has the most importance.
For early SD2s. And for late SD2s, the design thing, I mean, the HLD rounds are very, very important. I've seen late SD2s going through multiple HLD rounds. Even I went through 2 HLD rounds in Amazon and 2 HLD rounds in Uber. So, I think, yeah, it's a plus one. I mean, even in the hiring manager round at Uber, I was asked HLD from my resume. So, I think huge plus one on that. And that too was from the Walmart experience that we had. And she asked me to give the briefing, I mean, to give the design of Copernicus. So,
nice.
Plus one on that. Yeah, let's move forward.
So, yeah, I would say कि hiring managers पहले हो रहे हैं, it's a good thing. And hiring managers, most companies in office करवा रही है. So that was one of the patterns that I saw. The other pattern that I saw in all of these companies is, irrespective of the layoffs, I didn't see a change in the strategy of hiring. कि layoff कर रहे हैं तो they are not like, they see you as a candidate जहाँ पे तुम मतलब layoff effect कर रहा है तुम्हें. If you are laid off, you are still the same candidate that you were if you were hired as well. So layoff is not a negative
I think
picture.
When the layoff picture started, then people had a very negative impression of it. कि what the other side will think. कि मैं शायद eligible नहीं था, मैं शायद बहुत अच्छा इंजीनियर नहीं था, या मैं स्टैक रैंक में सबसे नीचे था, इसलिए मेरा ले ऑफ हुआ. बट अब वो बिल्कुल चेंज हो गया है.
Correct.
I think layoff in some time is a blessing in disguise for you. You get 7 months of severance as a good for most of the companies, like 2 to 3 months. For other companies, like 6-7 months of pay, and you get ample amount of time to prepare.
Correct. In most of the interviews that I felt, in the drives that I went to, what I felt is वहाँ पे जो लोग थे, they were either laid off in those big layoffs that were happening, or they were like me, where they are just preparing. So what I felt is those candidates itself, they didn't have that confidence degradation. They were like, okay, I'm laid off, but I can still crack this. And I mean, during drives, we obviously discuss with fellow mates and all those. And I think that is something that I feel is a positive in tech industry, that even if someone has gotten rid of you, you are still not worthless.
Still relevant.
Still relevant.
Great, Poojan. So, the next thing, हर कंपनी का थोड़ा सा ब्रेकडाउन दे दो, वो अभी भी पेंडिंग है. Amazon का, I would want you to focus on Amazon, Apple, and what was the other one? Uber. Let's focus on these 3 companies. बाकी सबको ऑलमोस्ट जनरलाइज हो जाएगा इन 3 में. ये बता दो कि क्या क्या डीएसए का डिफिकल्टी था, एचएलडी का क्या था, एलएलडी का क्या था, कैसे सवाल थे, थोड़ा आइडिया हो जाए.
ठीक है.
सिमिलरली तीनों का बता दो, और थोड़ा कॉम के बारे में बता दो. उससे मोटिवेशन मिलता है लोगों को बहुत ज़्यादा, कि कितना पैसा है, इतनी मेहनत करके वाकई में इतना आउटपुट मिल रहा है. तो थोड़ा सा बेनिफिट्स एंड ऑल भी बता देना.
तो आई विल स्टार्ट विद कि कौन सी कंपनी का इंटरव्यू पहले हुआ था. सबसे पहले मेरा उबर का ड्राइव हुआ था. सो ये एक सैटरडे को था, जहाँ पे वी वर लाइक 15-20 कैंडिडेट्स, L4 L5 के थे. अब उसमें से राउंड्स हमारे 5 होने थे. इंटरव्यूअर ने मेरे को बोला था कि 5 एचआर ने मेरे को बोला था कि 5 राउंड्स होंगे. एंड आई थॉट से उसी दिन पे सारे 5 हो जाएंगे, बट डिडंट फील प्रैक्टिकल टू मी, क्योंकि बहुत लोग थे. बट उस टाइम मेरे 3 राउंड ही हुए. तो फर्स्ट राउंड दैट यू हैव इन उबर इज BPS, और द बिजनेस फोन स्क्रीन, which is kind of a screening round. Then you have C1, which is DSA. I'd say DSA lead code hard or medium hard. I mean medium hard के side पे. और
टॉपिक्स बता दो, किस टॉपिक के अराउंड सवाल आए थे. ग्राफ्स था.
हाँ. तो BPS was मतलब it was around priority queue, and एक नहीं 2 priority queue यूज करने थे, इसलिए it's more on the harder side.
Okay.
And
2 priority queues
यूज करने थे.
Okay.
सेकेंड मेरा जो था वो C1 था, विच इज कोडिंग 1. दिस वॉज मोर इन टू द DSU, डिसजॉइंट सेट यूनियन ग्राफ का. तो उन्होंने फ्रेम ऐसे किया था कि मतलब आई वाज अपियरिंग फॉर उबर ईट्स मर्चेंट टेक विच इज काइंड ऑफ रेस्टोरेंट्स। तो फ्रेम ऐसे कर दिया था कि रेस्टोरेंट है, इनकी चेन्स है, उनको सेट करना है बेसिकली, एक
ओके, सो
यूनियन
ग्रुपिंग
करना है।
करनी है, फिर ग्रुपिंग
हाँ।
करके रैंक निकालना है।
मतलब देयर वाज सम लॉजिक। तो डीएसयू का थोड़ा एडवांस वर्जन था, मतलब जैसे आप रैंक मेंटेन करते हो ना डीएसयू में, तो रैंक के साथ साथ प्रायोरिटी भी मेंटेन करनी थी, या फिर ऐसा कुछ मेंटेन करना था जिससे पता चले मे बी पेरेंट का भी कुछ लॉजिक। और लास्ट जो मेरा था वो C2 राउंड था उसी दिन पे, विच वाज मोर इनटू एलईडी और सिस्टम डिजाइन। मतलब आजकल एलईडी में कुछ डीएसए में कुछ रखा ही नहीं है।
एग्जैक्टली।
तो जो भी है सब एलईडी पे फोकस रहता है। तो ये वाला इंटरव्यू मेरा काफी लंबा गया था, मतलब ही आस्क्ड अ लॉट ऑफ फॉलो अप क्वेश्चंस एंड लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स दैट जस्टिफिकेशंस कि मैंने ये क्यों किया। उबर की एक्सपेक्टेशन सिंपल होती है, हर राउंड में वर्किंग कोड चाहिए।
एग्जैक्टली।
ये तीनों राउंड में वर्किंग
इवन
कोड चाहिए।
एलईडी, आई विल टेल अबाउट, मैंने अपने उबर के इंटरव्यू में बोला है, वो लिंक मिल जाएगा ऊपर, कि specifically for all those product based company, they want you to give a working code by the end of the day. It should be working first and then
Correct.
should be maintainable. I mean,
Correct.
structured and whatnot, all the fundamental principles should be applied.
मतलब अगर एक्सपेक्टेशंस जाननी है तो जब भी उबर का इंटरव्यू शेड्यूल होगा तो वो एक लिंक देते हैं जहाँ पे अगर आप ट्रैवर्स करो तो बैकएंड के अंदर आपको दिख जाएंगे कि हर राउंड का क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है। तो C2 का एक्सपेक्टेशन ये नहीं है कि ऑप्टिमाइज्ड एफिशिएंट होना चाहिए, दैट्स अ प्लस पॉइंट इफ यू हैव इट, बट उनका ये है कि अच्छा कोड है या नहीं है, आर यू एबल टू जस्टिफाई योर कोड और प्रोडक्शनाइज्ड है या नहीं है। तो एंड द अदर 2 राउंड्स वर हायरिंग मैनेजर एंड HLD। HLD वाज काइंड ऑफ अ बार रेजर इन उबर। तो आई वुड से कि पहले 3 राउंड्स विल डिफाइन कि क्या तुम आगे बढ़ सकते हो या नहीं, एंड द लास्ट 2 राउंड्स दिल बी अ प्लस पॉइंट। तो अगर पहले 2 में भी अगर लेट्स से तुम्हें थोड़ा कम मिला है एंड यू किल इन hiring manager and HLD, right? They can overturn the first 3 rounds itself.
Definitely.
Debrief में. So I would say कि obviously focus on the first 3 rounds.
Just for the viewers, debrief is a round which happens after all the rounds of the candidates is over. मतलब सारे HLD, LLD, DSA rounds सब हो जाते हैं। तो debrief में all the interviewers जिन्होंने तुम्हारे इंटरव्यू लिए हैं वो सब एक साथ बैठते हैं राउंड द टेबल, और बहुत सारे कैंडिडेट्स के प्रोफाइल, आई मीन कैसे पैकेट्स होते हैं, where they discuss ki whether to move forward or not with it.
Correct.
So the interviewee is not involved, all the interviewers and the hiring managers are involved there.
So point is debrief में HLD और bar raiser and hiring manager can overturn whatever your decision is if you reach
turn
that
around
place.
the results, yeah.
So give them the most priority, but don't leave out the first 2. And I would say this is majorly it from Uber perspective. I'll move on to Amazon. Amazon,
The pay side,
I'll compare everything at the end together. Amazon, I would say कि there were 4 rounds, all in office, all on one day.
damn.
So
Must
first
be
would
very
be
hectic.
first would be DSA, then LLD, HLD, and hiring
raiser.
manager.
Okay.
Sorry, bar raiser. My bad. HLD is the hiring manager itself.
Yeah.
So Amazon में the most important thing apart from DSA and interviews is leadership principles.
Very, very important. I've been telling this
हाँ.
in my video. I have a video where I've explained how to crack Amazon. And the
And-
leadership principle, I think in every round you get judged on the leadership principle.
हाँ हाँ. And yeah, one more thing I forgot in Uber. So जब मेरे पहले 3 rounds हो गए थे तो HR asked me to go home. I was going home. I just asked him what the other rounds would be and what are the expectations. तो उसने नोटिस बोर्ड पे पॉइंट करके बोला these are the values of Uber. इसको देख लेना. And since I had given interviews in past for Amazon, I know what values and leadership principles mean and how they can help in your behavioral and how you can frame your answers based on that. तो मैंने लिटरली सारे वैल्यूज देख लिए थे. तो आई वुड सजेस्ट कि कोई भी कंपनी में जाओ ना, हायरिंग मैनेजर या बिहेवियरल वाले साइड के वैल्यूज के साथ अलाइन करो. दिस विल हेल्प यू अ लॉट. तो
Just to understand what these values are, you can watch my video. I'll explain it very clearly for the leadership में कैसे behave. I mean, the star technique. Even while answering
correct.
a DSA problem, you can follow those things as well.
correct.
Perfect.
So leadership principles almost 2 in every round, and DSA I would say medium, not very hard. It depends on interview, but I would say on an average it was a medium. LLD was something that, so all of these rounds in Amazon, since they were in office, you are not expected to carry the laptops. So what you have to do is put it on pen and paper. So in Amazon, the requirement is not that you have a working code, it's how well do you design the system. Again, DSA is not important, LLD is, or your design is. And one more thing, in HLD rounds, what I feel is drawing on the HackerRank or all those Draw.io platforms, I felt whiteboarding is much easier and much better.
I mean, this reminds me of old school interview where we had a whiteboard. We used to call whiteboarding. So it's always convenient to have a pen, paper, or a marker to design. Otherwise, picking a box, then resizing it, then finding.
It's very hectic.
It's very hectic and very time consuming as well.
And you have to type everything. You can just say it while writing a short note.
Much. I mean, I love in-person interviews.
So I think in Amazon there was whiteboarding and I was able to take leverage of that. And bar raiser is again the most important round where bar raiser may overturn your final decision. Bar raiser can be anything in Amazon. For me, it was an LLD round. Again, my weak suit, but I was able to get through with it. And finally, we'll come to Apple. Apple has a unique way of taking the interviews. So I'll say Apple also I had 5 rounds. The first 2 rounds were virtual, where I was interviewing for a specific team in Apple, where their expectation was Java, backend, Spring Boot, and all those cases. So maybe half of my interview was DSA and half of my interview was LLD, but the other half was more into how much do you know Java, how much do you know Spring Boot or backend.
So you can say Java core fundamentals.
Java core fundamentals. And since I knew this beforehand, first of all, Apple interview experiences you'll never find anywhere.
Yeah.
They are very hard to find.
Listen it carefully, guys. Listen it carefully.
So I didn't find anything. It was just some vague 4-5 years old question. So, but the HR set this expectation with me that you have to prepare for Java and all those cases. But this is the first time I was going through the cheat sheet of 100 questions on GFG and other platforms. You can also check that out. And simple core fundamentals on how Java works. I have never worked in depth in Java. I mean, I generally use what business wants me to do, just write a simple code. So these were something as a learning to me as well. What's a JIT, what's a garbage collector and all those things.
Very important.
So, and Spring Boot, I was not able to answer confidently even in interviews, saying that I shifted from Spring Boot to Micronaut in our
at Walmart,
systems,
we used to work at
Micronaut. So, but I think that was not a negative point since they know that I'm not working into that. And these first 2 rounds were a bit vague. I wouldn't say as per the industry standards. So, if you are appearing for a specific team or a role, clear it out with the HR that what these kind of rounds would be. The next 3 rounds were, I would say they were also vague. I mean, they were LLD, HLD and hiring manager round. So, my team sits partially in UK and partially in India. I was expected to go to an office, Apple, Bangalore, although my location is Hyderabad. And people joined from UK and Hyderabad virtually. And my interviews like 3:30 to 4:30, 4:30 to 5:30, 5:30 to 6:30.
Damn.
These were the interviews. It's because they wanted time with UK people and they didn't want to keep them up late. So what I valued is that they value their employees a lot, Apple. And Apple, these rounds were not like design this system, design that. They want to extract that information out of you. So they'll be like, let's assume we have this kind of situation.
So they want to see the thought process of the candidate.
Correct.
Whether
exactly.
he's able to make it to the solution.
Correct.
I mean, getting the solution, getting to the implementation is still easy once you know what to implement.
Correct.
But getting it to how
do you get there, or what is your thought process?
Yeah,
how is
your communication? How do you communicate?
Correct. Yeah. So what I felt there was they don't waste times on whether you want to, writing those classes and everything. They want to get a straightforward approach that what are you thinking? And efficiently they asked a lot of questions in these rounds itself. There was some DSA. I mean, in first round of those 3 rounds, I had to write some code. Apart from that, no code writing was required. And they wanted to extract everything out of you. And they do this very beautifully. I mean, they know a way. I mean, at least my interviewers knew a way on how to get that information out of me. If I'm not heading in the right direction, they'll pull me towards that. You just have to understand those hints.
And I really love those kind of interviews where they throw hint very subtly. Actually, they help you succeed.
Correct.
And
I mean, they want your growth and they want your prosperous.
Yeah, they do. Most of the time, interviewers want you to succeed.
Correct.
Because they really don't want to waste time in interviewing a lot of candidates. If they see your potential and you can be upskilled, they will definitely hire you.
Correct. And for the hiring manager, again, the values and how was I able to communicate with them. So I would say
communication matters a lot. I think for that what I say is बहुत ज़्यादा mock interviews करो. और maybe appear for those interviews in those companies जो तुम्हें join नहीं करनी है. I mean, you already know which companies you don't want to join, but you can use those companies as a your mock interview. I mean, very real life mock interview.
Correct. Just one more thing. Whatever you write in your resume, right? Like for example, in Apple and all, they went very deep inside my resume. Apple and
Every
Uber.
product-based company, they grill you on the resume. I mean,
So
at Uber as well, right?
Uber,
Hiring manager round, I was asked from my resume.
So they maybe they don't know what you're talking about, but they want to know how confident you are.
How confident, whether you have worked on it or not.
Correct.
If you have
Is
not
it
worked-
just fake or not?
Exactly, because a lot of people are faking their resume just to get the resume shortlisted
Correct.
through the ATS.
Correct. One more thing I would suggest is earlier I did not get shortlisted in my CVs, but I started this ATS thing, and there's this platform called Enhanced CV. So in that, they before signing it, you can give it unlimited times, and they'll give you the resume score. In this, what I'll say is keep your score above 90. It's difficult, but my resume, I wanted to update it. I already had a resume which was 98. I wanted to update it. I made some minor changes, and it boiled down to 70, and then I was never able to get it back up to 98. So what I did, you reuse that same resume. So just try to ensure that it's above 90 if you want to get shortlisted in companies.
That's a very good point. I mean, I'm hearing it for the first time. There's some platform Enhanced CV, right?
Yeah, and basically it's not that they have some different ATS checker. It's just that it's free out of the other resume checkers. You don't have to sign in and anything. And
is it widely used, or?
I mean, if you type ATS score checker in Google, it will be top few itself.
Oh, okay. Good.
So that's. I mean, I tried all. I got that this I can use multiple times because I used to make some changes, give it. Make some changes, give it.
Did you try ChatGPT, Gemini, and other tools?
So I did try them, but sometimes they didn't understand what I wanted to actually convey in that, and maybe their ATS score is not something that helped me get shortlisted. I obviously have used them, but this is something that I'm saying that it is tried and tested. Why? Because I've also asked some of my friends to follow it.
So it is some sort of industry accepted ATS scorer which you can leverage out.
Correct.
Perfect. So now comes the most important and motivating part of the video, the compensation.
So the first offer that I got was Amazon, and the compensation there, they are very heavy on joining bonuses. So the compensation was somewhere around 65 in the first year, and
65 lakhs, not thousands.
Yeah, 65 lakhs in the first year I'm talking about, and it keeps on increasing more for Uber and more for Apple. For Uber there might not be a significant gap. For Apple there is a bit of significant gap because they give a lot of stocks. So from CTC perspective, Apple would be way higher. From a base perspective, I'd say that Uber is the highest, and this is also valid from Levels FI or all those websites that you can tally.
I think Uber almost gives 50 base as far as I know, because I have interviewed for them. You can easily get 50 base if you negotiate.
Correct.
And for Amazon, I think it ranges from 45 to 50.
At SDE-2 level, levels I'll say tell you that Uber,
SDE-2.
Amazon was L5, Uber was L4, which is SDE-2. Uber was L4, which is again SDE-2.
Don't get confused, the naming, everything is SDE-2 only.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Apple is ICT3. So all of these are SDE-2 levels, or around 3.5 to 4.5 years of experience.
Perfect. So if we talk about CTC, everything will be and must be in crores. Above a CR, right?
So I think CTC wise, I think everything would be in crores. Yeah, I'd say that. All are 1 crore plus packages. It feels good. But there is
very happy.
Yeah, very happy.
All the hard work pays off, right?
मेहनत रंग लाई.
तो बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो मुझसे पूछते हैं, यार मैं बहुत टाइम से अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ और नहीं हो रहा है मेरा. I think they should watch this video. Poojan started almost a year back, 7 months of rigorous preparation and getting rejections, and then now having more than 5 offers. And that too at big fan companies, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's patience and hard work and luck. That's it. And obviously, मेहनत तो रहती है हमेशा.
मेहनत तो रहती है.
So thank you so much, guys, for listening us, watching us. If you are watching till the end, and
thank you.
If you need any referral or any advice, you can reach out to Poojan. I'll add his LinkedIn in the description. You can always seek some advice from him. He is a very intelligent and very smart and very funny guy. I had a very great experience working with him when I was at Walmart, and
alike.
and thank you for watching. Subscribe, like and share, and we'll continue our lunch. See you.
Sure.
Bye. मैं को check कर लेता हूँ. ये सब सही आएगा.
What I saw that the
Excuse me. There's a camera. Can you?
like, follow, share, subscribe.
Yep.
मार्जिन हुआ था
हाँ सर.
तो
Cut.
इस पार्ट को वापस स्टार्ट करता हूँ.